the precious golden garland of meditation instructions. Namo Guru. The bodily form of the great master, known as the lotus-born, was unchanging like the sun. His speech was unceasing like a stream, and his mind unobstructed like the sky. His qualities were beyond increase and decrease, like a river, and his activity unimpeded, like the wind. His realization was equal to that of the Buddhas, and he taught the Dharma in conformity with the 6 classes of beings. Lady Sogyo, the princess of Ka-Chen, served this Nirmanakaya, who was as famous as the sun on the Jambu continent. While he was residing at the juniper ridge of crystal pearls, she pleased him in thought, word, and deed. Then she made the following request. Great Master, what is the prelude to meditation practice for a devoted person who desires to meditate? The Master replied, the prelude for meditation practice is to gather the accumulations, receive the oral instructions, cut the ties of attachment, and collect necessities. Tidy your dwelling, which should be uplifting and of an appropriate size. Having done so, form the compassionate attitude of bodhicitta and resolve to establish all sentient beings in enlightenment. In your dwelling, arrange a stuffed cushion with a clean filling of cotton, wool, or the like. Rid yourself of bodily excretions such as feces and urine. From your throat and nose, expel mucus. Then assume the cross-legged posture. Place your hands in equanimity, the body straight and upright, your head neither bowed nor bent, your eyes lowered in the direction of the nose, and the teeth and lips in their ordinary way. In short, train in meditation while letting your 3 doors be in their natural state. Lady Sogyo asked the Master, how should one keep the mind during meditation? The Master replied, While meditating, let your body and mind relax. Since there is nothing whatsoever to be analysed, the stream of dualistic mind and the mental states arising from it are interrupted. You do not have to deliberately halt them. While neither keeping nor rejecting anything, let go of all mental activity. Don't think of anything, and don't imagine anything. Your nature is aware, just as it is. Without moving toward anything, let be in your natural state. When remaining in this way, the knower and the known are not seen as separate. So don't think of the object as being there, or the knower as being here. And do not conceive of something other than those two. Since you neither pursue an object there, nor try to stop a thought here, you can allow mind itself to be pure, lucid, and awake, without needing to dwell on anything whatsoever. The flaws that hinder this are excitement, drowsiness, and deep-rooted beliefs. Excitement means the mind's act of reaching out towards objects. The way to adjust this is to relax your body and mind while keeping your attention collected. Settle it again and again. If you still chase after different thoughts, repeatedly direct your attention toward this jumpy mind. If you're unable to do that, and thoughts continue to reach out, investigate this outward movement that is like a cloud in the sky. Where does it come from? Where does it move toward? And where does it remain? By exploring like this, allow the thought movements that arise from mind to subside again by themselves. As these thought movements are empty, There is no need to tightly restrict or deliberately prevent them. This is the instruction in dissolving excitement and the movement of thoughts. Drowsiness is like being in a dark room or having your eyes closed. To correct this, refresh yourself with activities such as spiritual practices, reflection, or the like. To refresh by means of samadhi, visualize yourself to be space. Visualize your spine to be a stack of chariot wheels. And imagine your mind to be like the sky. To refresh by means of instruction, meditate while observing a sense object or while just keeping the senses wide open. These are the instructions in clearing up drowsiness. Dullness is when your mind becomes hazy or absent-minded, as if affected by an evil spirit. If that happens, set the practice aside and return to meditating after a while. This is the instruction in getting rid of mindlessness. Deep-rooted beliefs have three faults. Since the training in Dharmata is supposed to be habituating oneself by not focusing and not fixating on anything whatsoever, it is a fault if you hold a rigid belief, let alone all the contradictory concepts such as it is such and it isn't such and such, eternity and void, antidotes to accept in order to reject, or the like. It is also a fault to harbour even a tiny speck of a notion or belief that all these things are unreal appearances, or all things are inconceivable, so I should meditate on not holding them in mind. This is the instruction in clearing away rigid beliefs. Lady Sogyul asks the Master, what types of experiences of realization arise from meditation training? The Master replied, since samsara has no concrete substance, while training, all the various types of labels, such as the appearance or disappearance of things, or that they neither arise nor cease, and so forth, are just momentary labels used to indicate that fact. So as you train in this way, you come to realize that these things of concrete substance have no verifiable identity whatsoever. And since samsara has no concrete substance, it is not something that can be discarded. Nor is nirvana something that can be obtained. You also come to realize that these two are merely labels, and that, according to the definitive meaning, none of the phenomena of samsara and nirvana are in fact real at all. And this you realize in actuality, beyond the domain of ideas, not merely in words, but decisively from deep within your mind. There are, however, people who, without realizing this, use the phrase, "None of these things ever arose," and then train in holding the idea that all this is emptiness. To do so is known as a mere meditation mood. By keeping such an idea in mind, you will not gain certainty. After realizing things to be like this, do not focus on ideas of them being in any particular manner. Things may be experienced in an ordinary way, but you will not find a shred of a concrete or tangible mind that can be seen or held as a focus. Since no impression of its nature can be experienced, nor anything be perceived by a perceiver, the thought its nature is such and such doesn't even occur. Nevertheless, you have still not abandoned the tendencies for deluded thinking. At this point, all things are seen with their own individual features, though evanescent and insubstantial, like the colours that appear before your eyes on the smooth surface of water. Besides that, there is no involvement in concepts of it is this or it is that. And you see the identity of this knowing mind as clearly and evidently as the sky. This is the time when you lose track of yourself, feeling as if you are the sky itself. Or you may feel scared or nervous because of seeing the perceiver and perceived as separate, and you no longer want to remain in this state. Seeing yourself as simply name and form, you don't entertain the idea of being a real sentient being. After rising from this state, when you briefly investigate things while engaging in daily activities, you experience only a vivid state of seeing no concrete things. You don't feel as if you're really walking when walking. And there is no sense of eating when you are eating food. At this point, when you investigate things, you realize that there is neither something to accept nor to reject, that things and I are nothing but deceptive, magical illusions. Since you see everything to be like space, you don't see yourself as being you and others as being others. When closing your eyes and letting the mind face inward, all objects become slightly vague. The flow of thought is interrupted, and there are no appearances. So the mind's lucidity gains a space-like quality. You don't sense that you have a body, nor do you notice the movement of your breath. The state of mind at this time resembles the unmoving brightness of a mirror, turned towards the sky at dawn. It remains totally lucid, free of any focus or concept, while it is clearly evident to itself. This continues unchanged throughout day and night. From time to time, the stream of knowing gradually turns more solid, but then gently the solidity vanishes again. To improve on this, don't cling to being lucid or at ease. Don't focus on anything, and don't cling to anything. Simply let this state remain aware of itself. When you try to emerge from this state, it doesn't feel as if you have. And even if you do briefly emerge from it, you gently return. Due to having resolved how things are while sitting, perceive things appear in a normal fashion while you remain composed. You neither cling to nor focus upon them. If you can remain in such a state that you see even the yearning for enlightenment as an illusion, and you hold no dread of samsara, then it is known as seeing things without wavering. To develop this, cast away even a subtle form of object and thinker, including the concept that it is such and such. In other words, at first, don't suppress anything. Next, don't grasp hold of its presence. And finally, don't pursue it. Instead, allow it to rise from you and subside back into you. This ability to remain for as long as you wish is known as pliable mind, or absence of doing and striving. While composed in this way, you may investigate things that you experience, either after rising from composure or during the composure itself. However, you find that there is no need to modify an insight, nor to deliberately try to scrutinize any given perceived object. Every thought, no matter its type, is lucidly present as Dharmata. Every emotion, no matter its type, arises as Dharmata. Every pain, no matter its type, causes no harm. And every pleasure, no matter its type, brings no benefit. Your attention does not need improving because it remains freely open. Even though you are not meditating, there is no separation from Dharmata. Since there is nothing superior to this, you feel no doubt. As you see no meditation object, you find no need for mental effort. Since your attention has become Dharmata itself, it remains beyond ebb and flow. This equality is the realization of Dharmakaya. Once you gain stability in this way of being, which is not an ordinary, concrete state, it is known as the natural experience of thought-free wakefulness. Lady Sogyal asked the Master, "Which signs indicate correct training in meditation?" The Master replied, "When you have trained in the above manner for a long time, the inner and outer signs will all appear. The inner signs include not noticing the inward and outward movement of breath while remaining composed, not feeling that there is a physical body, not sensing heat, cold, or even strong pain, and feeling a natural sense of delight that is not directed at anything whatsoever. At this point, there is less clinging to any given sense object, less fixating on it is such and such, and less timidity in every regard. selfishness, likes and dislikes, worries, the 8 worldly concerns, and other types of thinking all become fewer and less pronounced. Until these signs have manifest, you must try your utmost to become in accord with them. You might also have some minor miraculous powers, clairvoyance of others' minds and the like. All these are the inner signs. The outer signs include seeing light shining in your body, or seeing various lights, colours or shapes in mid-air, seeing the bodily forms of Buddhas and other noble beings, hearing their voices and seeing their gestures of showing you respect, or that they give you teachings, predictions, and so forth. Clinging to these occurrences and believing in their lasting reality entails the flaw of becoming interrupted by Mara. When you neither cling to nor believe in them, they indicate good qualities. Lady Sogyal asks the Master, what kind of daily activities should one undertake after rising from the state of composure? The Master replied, after rising from the above-mentioned state of composure, there are 2 ways of training. First, the training that accords with insight is to trust that everything you experience, you, yourself, as well as outer and inner things, are all illusory appearances, like in a dream. Keep this trust in mind during the 4 types of daily activities, no matter what you participate in or enjoy. However your body feels, train so that you neither suppress that feeling nor hold it in mind. In all activities of thought, word, and deed, whatever they may be, train in holding no focus. The training that accords with method is to cultivate an illusory compassion for illusory sentient beings. And if it doesn't hamper your meditation state, then perform various actions to help them. make vast aspirations, such as the aspiration of noble conduct. Discern between good and evil, and carry out various virtuous actions. But it wouldn't belong to the higher vehicles, nor would it be the state of equality, if at any point you engaged in virtuous actions while holding them to be real. So realize that you and all things are like a magical illusion. You should exert yourself in gathering the accumulations and purifying the obstructions until you have attained the confidence of equality, in which you behold no substance of an accumulation to be gathered or an obscuration to be purified. Within the state of composure, be free from accepting and rejecting, and remain free from the fear of samsara resulting from misdeeds, as well as the hope of nirvana resulting from virtuous actions. Even though you have attained such confidence of equality and can engage in actions free of accepting and rejecting, you should, while holding no conceptual focus, respect the ethics of vows and precepts in order to aid others in avoiding harmful actions and in adhering to virtue. In general, don't judge indulging or abstaining as being either good or evil. To engage in accepting or rejecting, or believing them to be real, is a barrier that prevents equality. Just as white and black clouds both obscure the sun. But more so, it is the fault of preventing the understanding of suchness. If you focus on precepts as either held or broken, after you have attained the confidence of equality. Don't let any emotional thought concerning success or failure, fame or gain, overtake you, and don't dwell upon them. Give up your personal shortcomings, such as foolish talk, distracting activities, and absent-mindedness. Train in being totally gentle in all physical, verbal, or mental activities. Don't ponder the flaws of others. Think instead of their good sides. If you become boastful and haughty, conceitedly thinking, I have special qualities, I have realized Dharmata, it shows that you have not realized Dharmata, so give it up. In short, since thinking is samsara and non-thought is nirvana, when the yogi remains among distractions and diversions, it is known as samsara. While remaining for even one moment in composure, free of focus, that duration is known as nirvana. Lady Sogyal asked the Master, after having practiced in this way, how does one awaken to enlightenment? The Master replied, when you have trained in the thought-free nature of Dharmata, thoughts, the causes of samsara, grow weaker and more quiet, while thought-free wakefulness becomes spontaneously present. This wakefulness is serene. Its domain of experience is utterly pure, and the three kayas and other enlightened qualities appear naturally, like rays that shine from the sun. Once you have mastered this nature, your body may remain in the world of human beings, but your mind abides at the stage of a Buddha. Once you have practiced in this way, there is no doubt that you will awaken to Buddhahood in the bardo. In other words, within your sky-like personal experience, Dharmakaya that is utterly uncreated, the sun-like Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakayas will, in the perceptions of others, work for the benefit of sentient beings, like the sun's rays. Lady Sogyal asked the Master, how should a person of average capacity train in meditation? The Master replied, upon having resolved that all things are one's own mind, a person of average capacity should focus on the ceaseless state of Dharmata that thoughts cannot grasp. and train in that state. By doing so, he or she does not need to avoid cultivating or thinking, since realization is already assured. In other words, seeing all things as mind, no other thing whatsoever is seen. In any state of mind, mind is seen. There is no separation. Dharmata is seen even when deliberately meditating. Because of knowing that thought movements are the nature of mind, no matter how Dharmata appears in the form of a thought, the nature of mind is self-evident. The notion of believing it to be any other thing is not formed. No matter how one's mind remains, and no matter what is seen, its nature is self-evident and unceasing. It is evident even when not cultivated, and it is mastered even without training in it. While remaining in this nature, no matter the details of objects that may occur, it will cause neither harm nor distraction. The perceiving of attributes by themselves is evidence of the nature of mind, since there is no arising of a conceptual frame of mind. In this way, all phenomena reveal mind, and there is no moving away from that ceaseless state. So, free from effort, one is liberated without carrying out any activity. No matter how sense objects appear, they are seen to be mind. And even if any concept or mental state does occur, one's realization never moves away from Dharmata at any time. In this way, when all phenomena are seen to be mind, and there is no slipping into a conceptual state, that is original wakefulness. For the yogi for whom this is an actuality, every sense experience whatsoever is seen to be Dharmata, and all perceptions are therefore a form of training. Hence, all phenomena are no other than mind, and no other notion arises. As they do not arise, both objects and concepts are Dharmata. Through this realization, everything is experienced as mind. As this mind is intangible, one does not regard thoughts and concepts as flaws, and one trains during the thoughts themselves. This being so, every experience, whatever one is doing or feeling, is nothing other than further training. This shows the main principle, that is the single cut of view and meditation training.